State Senator Dave Howard out of Park City. Good to hear from you.
How are you doing today, Aaron?
Hey, I'm doing all right. We actually had a caller give one of your pieces of legislation a shout-out yesterday. They said, hey, you know, people are struggling. Maybe we shouldn't tax their Social Security benefits right now.
Well, that and my main concern for calling in is the fact that right now we have, it's interesting, it always happens with a Democrat governor, is the fact that when they're setting all these restrictions on us all across the United States, and Governor Bullock is no different, they're violating our Bill of Rights. And especially in Montana right now, he has regulated churches as being less important than buying marijuana, booze, and having abortions. And this is just egregious. And I think Montanans should really be afraid right now because there's a precedent being set. And when a governor can take away our Bill of Rights on a supposed emergency, what emergency are they going to create in the future to not only take away our First Amendment rights, but our Second Amendment rights? So we need to have this conversation because this governor doesn't have the authority through executive fiat or decree to take away our Bill of Rights.
It is pretty remarkable when you think about the fact that he shuts down churches but keeps Planned Parenthood open. You can't go to the VA for an elective surgery, but you can go to Planned Parenthood in the state of Montana. And I did see a note. There's a pastors network, Montana Pastors Network. Dick Pence shared a letter from them led by Pastor Terry Fork, basically calling on the governor, to allow churches to open and just to ask them to consider voluntary social distancing measures and cleanliness, things like that, which I think these churches would be fully ready and prepared to implement.
Well, there's no one in Montana that follows the law better than people that go to church every Sunday, okay? They're not anyway, the law breakers. They're the ones that accept the law. But here's the key. They shouldn't have to ask right now because he only has the authority to ask churches not to meet. He only has the authority to ask churches that, don't use social distancing and that type of stuff. And you know what? Churches would do it, but he doesn't have the ability to force them. And that's the key, because once he starts through executive action forcing us to lose our First Amendment rights and our Second Amendment rights, he becomes a dictator.
Back to State Senator Dave Howard out of Park City here as the phone lines are open across Montana. So, Senator Howard, I know you were talking about how, the First Amendment infringements with the governor shutting down churches, but then leaving Planned Parenthood open and liquor stores open. How can the legislators, lawmakers like you, attempt to rein in the governor, whether it comes to First Amendment infringements or just finally starting to open up some of our businesses again?
Well, you see, I think every Montanan should understand, your legislators, me, I have to abide by the law. There's only one way to make a law, and that's if the Senate passes it, the House passes it, and the governor signs it. So we're not in session right now. We have a country that is run by we the people. I want to encourage we the people to start standing up. You need to be calling your governor. You need to be standing. You need to be supporting your pastors about this religious freedom. We don't understand the precedent this is setting. The precedent is that if he is capable of doing this without any pushback, do you understand the precedent? What freedoms we're going to lose?
Yeah, good point. Good point. And I know folks are calling the governor's office. In fact, I got a note from a listener in Helena yesterday because she was asking the question, hey, what can we do? Because people are hurting and the governor just doesn't seem to care. It's like, well, start by calling his office. I don't know if it'll do anything, but still, you at least got to start there. And she said she called and they didn't seem too happy to hear from her. So apparently they are hearing it from folks across the state. I know, we get out of our bubble here. We hear from folks all across Montana, so we know how outraged Montanans are right now. But if you're just sitting in your little quarantine bubble in the governor's mansion, you're probably thinking that, well, I'm getting on TV. I'm getting on, you know, my name heard on the radio, so it's working out well for me when it's not working out well for everybody else.